All right. I see Hank is here. I just gave him the old invite to come up and co-host. Was looking for a few things to put on the Jumbotron. I got a couple of them up there. But yeah, I am really glad that everybody's here who is here right now. And we've, been getting pretty good playback on the recording. So that's always great. My name is Jude Newcomb, like I said. We are hosting Market Talk every week, 2 p.m. Eastern. Um, anything that's said here is not financial advice. If you can repost the room, that would be great. Just, click the little chat bubble thing on the bottom right if you're on your phone and give it a reshare, leave a like, comment, do all those things. That way we can grow the program, we can grow DiamondSwap, and we can get the word out. So with that being said, Hank, how you doing today?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Definitely
Nice.
a busy morning, but thankfully it has it tapered off a little bit around noon. So I actually got to eat lunch today. So
Oh, that's good.
yeah,
What was it?
I had just a sandwich, turkey
Okay.
ham and pepper jack. You know.
Okay. Little spice. Little spice.
Yeah. Well, I threw jalapenos on there too. I eat spicy food almost religiously.
Yeah, same. Same. I'm the same way. I guess I should go through a few of the pin tweets here. The first one is going to be for one of the topics that we might get to about the markets. The second one is going to be the actual spaces link, so it's easy to repost, like I was just talking about. You can do it that way as well. And then the third one, which is the most recent, is going to be the DiorDex referral program. A really great way for people to, potentially earn some passive income. If you sign up, you get free Dior. Anybody else that you get to sign up using your referral code after you're done doing that process, you also earn Dior when that token launches. But then on top of that, which I think is an even better kind of selling point for doing it, you also will get 10% of the trading fees for whoever signs up under your referral code forever. So that could really add up if you get a lot of people, or even if you get one person who's just a complete whale. So yeah, if you get the chance, do that, spread the message on that. And then there's also a sorry, I said referral program, but that tweet is actually about the Q&A, which you can also stop in and do um, tonight on Telegram, and you can follow the links from the DiorDex Twitter page. And we say all that about Dior because DiamondSwap is associated with DiorDex. So with all that stuff out of the way, Hank, how's your last couple of weeks been? Because we weren't here last week to have a show. How have the markets been for you? Has anything stuck out for you? Um, as far as things that you're aware of or keeping an eye on, tone of the market, stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of, I guess you have to break it down by blockchain now, which is kind of
Absolutely,
interesting.
absolutely.
But uh, Solana obviously had Jupiter release yesterday, which was pretty much consumed the entire network. I was there on launch. I did actually make, I think it was like 15 Sol, because I was able to get in at 50 cents and then it ran up to 70. And now I am again on the sideline because it's been pretty much like a stable coin ever since. It did start to go down a little bit more. I think it's back to my first entry now, actually. I think it's back down to like, what, 54 cents or something? Last time I looked.
Yeah, it bounced a little bit. It's a 58. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's still, you know, under 60 cents. So it's still a pretty good entry in terms of, where that project is more than likely going to head. So keeping an eye on that. And then I did a little bit of shitcoining last night on Solana as well, which also happened to work out, thankfully. But other than that, I mean, the ETH, and all of the other major networks is kind of quiet. I've noticed, like over the last 2 weeks, especially, it's been pretty quiet out there. I haven't seen a crazy amount of stuff. Obviously, Poly launched a new token, which is everyone is FOMOing into, which is
Pork.
hilarious. Yeah, pork. Um, I heard about it at what 20 mil market cap, but I just didn't want to bring myself to buy a Poly token, and I should have. So that's on me. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, I wanted to get your thoughts on the Jupiter thing before we go to kind of the the malaise it seems like in the rest of the networks and in the market overall, uh, at least from my perspective. The way that Jupiter, you and I have talked kind of behind the scenes about the Jupiter launch and the way that they approached it, where a lot of times, especially like when we're talking about, shitcoining and degenning with, Solana launches and new pairs, it just seems like, whoever's first to the game gets complete run over, they're a very important component of the success of that project as far as the charting is concerned in the first few days. And they can really just dump it, straight into the toilet. But what Jupiter has seemingly done here is they've kind of controlled the launch price by the way that they've set up this kind of price curve and liquidity pool, with an influx of a lot of capital into their liquidity pool. And what it's done, it's kind of trapped the price between 40 cents and 70 cents. And then, they're what they're claiming is that they can then allow people the opportunity to buy in this range. And then what that will also do in like 7 days, they're claiming that they're then going to remove their funding from that pool and allowing the price to then do whatever it wants to do. Do you have thoughts on that? Like, is that like a good approach or just different or
yeah.
what
So they're doing a 1.6 curve, which is interesting. I mean, I've seen it happen on a few other projects for different type of curve liquidity management aspects. Keeping it within a range is definitely the route that I would have probably went as well for as much liquidity as they had, especially with people entering limits and DCAs ahead of time, which was also a interesting thing to see for their project. They were allowing people to put orders in and told them the general range of what the token was going to launch at. So people had tens of millions of dollars sitting between zero point 0.4, zero point 0.5, waiting for entry right out the gate, right? So not only did that allow for them to kind of predict and utilize and market make their curve, but it also bolstered the liquidity up from what their original 5 to 10 seed would have been up to $100 million, which is significant, very very significant for what they were looking at. So I think it definitely did help them. It is interesting to see what is happening now with people fully having access, the network not being congested, and everything working. Obviously, you saw a little bit of a downtrend over the last 12 hours ish. But I
Yeah.
mean, that's to be
Yep.
expected. I mean, they airdropped a ton of free capital mostly free capital to the people who utilize their platform, right? So I think that's essentially why the curve was implemented in the first place, so that they could control that liquidity movement throughout the entirety of their launch week. I'd probably see that this is happening for another at least until Monday, right? They would want to hold this
Yeah.
until or over the weekend, so that they don't have.
Yeah. 7 days.
Yeah. I think what they're doing is smart. I don't see any issues with it, and then I think if people believe in their ecosystem, and it could make for some opportunities for people, having the opportunity to get into these levels as long as their platform performs well. I mean, it might be fortuitous. So, I
Yeah. I
will
think it
probably
was,
enter if I see it under 50 cents.
right. Right. Yeah. I think they had 955,000 wallets that they airdropped. And I think at this point, like 60%, maybe a little less than 60% have actually gone through the claim
I
process.
think their
So
claim window is till July, right? Or May.
yeah, it's a long one. It's longer than the when drop that they did. It's June or July, something like that.
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm with you. I think if it dips a little bit lower, I'll get them too. I'm not on the sidelines. I'm a community member, I guess, and I guess I'm hoping that once this thing lifts on Monday or whatever 7 days would be, that it'll go in a positive direction. I think it will, but we'll we'll see.
Right.
It kind of yeah, it kind of goes to the next topic, which you kind of mentioned briefly, and I also want to say if anybody wants to come on stage and talk, we can talk about Jupiter, we can talk about the markets, whatever you want. Come up and join the discussion. But yeah, I actually had this article, which is the first one linked, ready for our show last week, but we decided to postpone until this week, and I still think it's like relevant. Kind of an article talking about Bitcoin, and at the time it dipped below 40,000. We've come up from that since then. Uh, Talking about the effect of the ETF, and their argument was that you know it might be detrimental to the current price flow of the market, where a lot of people are finally getting the opportunity to actually sell. So I just think it's an interesting article if anybody gets a chance to check it out. But yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's the king, Hank, and if it's flat or sideways or going down a little bit, I mean, it really impacts everything else.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with Bitcoin going back down to 12. If Capo is right, I'll sell my house. I'll put everything, like I'll loan the dog. Like, I don't know,
The
like
dog.
everybody, everything I have, I'll liquidate and throw it in. Right. So I don't see it getting down to that level. I mean, the 38 was kind of where I was guessing last week as to where we would hit, and it got pretty close. But I think it did touch just right above 38. I think like the low point was 39, maybe like right at 39.
Yeah, yeah,
But it recovered pretty well. Um, Kind of what I was expecting, based on all of the different people that I follow, and just my own intuition and ability to do TA. I mean, like it's maintaining a pretty good level, and I'm happy where it is right now at 42. It could continue to run sideways for a while because that just means a little bit extra liquidity is going to flow into alts, and that wouldn't harm anything. Actually, be fortuitous to us, especially with the decks and everything else that we're doing. I would like to build up liquidity pairs at a better ratio than if Bitcoin was at 60 or 100K, right? So we can stay
absolutely.
here as long as we want, right? So
Yeah, yeah. Are you into technical analysis? Do you try to chart or draw lines on the
I'd
chart?
like to think I am.
Yeah.
I am not always right. That's for sure. but it's I'm getting better at it. I have thankfully a lot of people in my network now that I'll show a chart to and be like, hey, does this look right to you? And they're like, yeah, no, not at all. Yeah, you should be doing this. And I'm like, oh, sweet, cool. So I like, at least I
Yeah.
have people within my network that can like teach me and help me do so. Once I feel like super confident that I could do it at larger ranges, then maybe I'll try to help other people at least learn the way that I've learned. But even then, I'm probably still just going to keep it to myself because I don't want to steer people to lose money the same way I lose money, right? I see
Yeah.
Rio's in here, a brilliant esports streaming platform. Anybody who has their own Twitch channels or Kick or YouTube or anything, definitely check it out. That is part of the project that I'm with Nobility. It's a safe haven for streamers. Pretty much, it'll aggregate all of your streaming platforms all into one, and let you utilize it in a lot of different ways that you can't with Twitch and Kick and stuff like that. So great to see you guys in here. Thanks for listening. But yeah, in terms of TA, I mean, I'm not the best, but I'm learning. And I think I really think it's interesting though, especially like since we're building out Dior, since we're building out our own charting platform, and everything else. I've had to kind of learn it more so, anyways, because we're trying to make sure that with our implementation and everything else that we're doing, I want to understand how best to test everything. And we've got a lot of traders and people within the community and within the cap table and everything else that know much better than I'll ever know. But just in general, I like to be as informed as I can. So
Yeah, yeah. And with the Dior charting, that's going to come with all the tools that are included in, I guess, different trading view style, kind of applications where, it'll have the little drop down with all the different indicators that you can apply to a
yeah,
chart.
the charting to start, we're utilizing TradingView's advanced charting libraries, so you're able to do everything that you would do with like premium TradingView. Eventually,
Cool.
we are, well, not eventually. On the side, we are also building out our own complete library on top of it, so that we can offer even more than TradingView does, and kind of a little bit more of a um, feature set that we would have to rely on TradingView to implement if we wanted to see. But for now, I mean, TradingView is a good alternative. It'll have definitely as much or more features than all of the other charting platforms have in terms of the chart itself. But the entirety of Diordex's platform will have more feature sets than pretty much every other DeFi platform ever made based on our roadmap. And our goal is to make them cheap and efficient for projects to be able to utilize, right? Like being in the space, especially through the fall of 2021 and throughout the bear market for the last 2 years. I mean, I've watched dozens and dozens of projects just get absolutely wrecked. And, they don't have a lot of capital. Everybody's, trying to scrounge up pennies to make things survive. And, one of those major things is like definitely all of the marketing platforms, all of the listing platforms, everybody who's, offering these different things for people to be able to just even do their own research. It's Dior. You got to pay $5,000 to get listed as a token on CoinMarketCap. You got to pay $50,000 to list as an exchange on there. You got to pay Trust Wallet to list on here. You got to pay X, Y, and Z to get your stuff to show on a wallet. Like all of that just doesn't make any sense, right? So our goal with that is to provide quality tools and products to teams to be able to utilize for next to nothing in terms of cost as to what everyone else is doing. And a lot of those features that we're building are going to be free to use for projects as well, especially in the beginning, right? Because we want as many people to be able to give feedback and test it out, and get their community to give feedback as well. So at the beginning, we're going to be doing a lot of things for free in general, and then when we do add fee structures and stuff, it'll be very nominal fees in comparison to everyone else out there. Where someone's charging $5,000, we're charging $100, right? So it's just
Right.
it. The
Yeah.
space needs cleaned
Anybody.
up, right? And that's what our goal is.
Exactly. And being able to funnel, 3 or 4 or 5 different websites and tabs on your screen down to one is going to be, I just can't wait for it. I think it's going to be a powerhouse, and everyone who can get in with at least the referral program now for them, I think is going to be setting themselves up for something that's just going to be a mainstay in the space for years to come. So. I did post a tweet. When you were talking about TA and kind of your experience with it. It's just a simple link, but it's for the pattern site. If anybody's ever heard of Thomas Bulkowski, he's a fairly well-known TA kind of pioneer, and he has this website. It's very simple, but you can look up all different types of patterns that exist. And he's done an extreme amount of research on them and has charted, kind of percentages of how many times they work out and how many times they fail. And I think, even though I love TA, I think every time I chart something, it fails. So
Yeah, same.
it's definitely, yeah, it's definitely like a good tool to use. I go to that website a lot because, just like anything else, TA is kind of like a weatherman telling you, what the percent chance of rain is. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to rain, but it you're just trying to get any kind of like small edge you can. And I am a believer in technical analysis and think that's a good tool if anybody needs it. But yeah, I think
I tend to believe websites that look like they're written in 2005 more
yeah,
than the
you saw
new,
it.
more than the new websites. Anybody who
Yeah.
has the weird textured ceiling background on their website, I tend to believe what they say.
Yeah, like I feel like he needs like one of those flying
Oh
toasters.
yeah, definitely. Like the just maybe like a Nyan cat at the bottom or something, just to seal it in.
Hey, we should launch a flying toaster
See,
meme.
there you go. You put it on Solana,
That'll
it'll
probably
pump
be
for
pretty
5 seconds and then dump to negative the launch price somehow.
good. Yeah. I guess, since we are talking about Dior and all that, I guess, I can ask you a little bit about DiamondSwap. You guys are working on the aggregator, and that's something that you're hoping to get out fairly soon,
Yeah,
right?
so we have a ton of information that I'll be putting out here soon regarding Diamond Swap. It just in general, I mean, Diamond, we have been. It's much more than just the aggregator in this update. If for any tech nerds out there, we actually had the entire website built using Nuxt as our stack, but Nuxt does not have a massive amount of Web3 libraries and stuff that with it. We've caught ourselves building out a lot of our own libraries for the entirety of the stack, and the loading of how everything is processed to the end user is not necessarily fast enough that we need for a DEX. It's a brilliant framework for most sites, but we've actually just over the last month recreated the entirety of the site and converted the entire thing over to using Svelte, which is much more stable than Nuxt in general, and it allows us to utilize some of the Web3 libraries that did not have updated ongoing maintenance support. So our performance of the site after that migration is just based on our benchmarking is we were loading within under 2 seconds beforehand with the old site. With the new site, once it's out, our load time is less than half a second. And that's like at maximum load. So, I mean, it is much more performant the way that we're handling everything. And obviously, some of that just comes from, we wrote the first front end a year and a half ago. So we have much more knowledge now than we did, back then. So we have better practices in general. But we were able to go through and update a lot of components. Everything had to be fully, brought up to speed and fixed, and we fixed a ton of bugs that we found and everything else. So I mean, it's going to be much more reliable in general. The way that we've built out the new aspects of the platform, and then with the aggregator, it is not just the aggregation algorithm. It's not just the trades itself, but we've actually over the last 4 weeks, the API itself, the backend components, has had over 250 development hours put into it, where we have dove in and done 100+ hours of R&D on top of that to be able to really figure out how to make sure that we never have any downtime at all. The backend components have not crashed a single time, haven't had any errors, and over 2 weeks now after our complete rewrite. All of our data servicing is under a millisecond. It is as fast as humanly possible that we can get for price quotes, for servicing API endpoints, etc. So when we release this update, it's not just the website itself is performant. It's not just a new feature set, but it's also all of the data or all of the usages of our infrastructure throughout the entire platform is much more reliable. We won't have, hopefully none, but we will have much less, reported issues from users, from projects trying to utilize the platform. We have 4 infrastructure partners now for 100% uptime for our RPCs. We have 2 partnerships with Oracle providers and stuff like that. So we have a massive amount of upgrades coming into this next build out. And by this time next week, we will likely be putting out some sneak peeks leading up to that release. So it is coming. It is absolutely coming this month. I'm not going to tell you a day, but we are getting very close. And it is very exciting to see, because we already have some major partnerships lined up for people who want to utilize the platform. So people who want to list with us, and that would be very influential projects for certain networks. And we also have some partnerships with full blockchain networks that we'll be announcing over the coming months as well. But we've had success on all fronts for the last 2 months have really been a blessing, and I'm very thankful for everybody who has helped me in that process. It's been very stressful, but I wouldn't have traded any of it, because in the last 2 months, 3 months, I mean, I've talked to people that wouldn't give me the time of day a year ago, and now they're directly giving me feedback all the time. And hey, can't wait to talk about this. Can't wait to use the platform. Can't wait to show people what you've built. I think you're doing a great job. And a year ago, I messaged them on Twitter. They'd be like, "Who the heck are you? Don't message me again." So it's interesting to see like the evolution of the space. And I think I like a lot of people go through that too. So
No, it's great. It's great. And I know there's a lot of people that are really looking forward to the growth and expansion of DiamondSwap and its incorporation into Dior. If anybody who's on the call like hasn't joined the Telegram or Discord for DiamondSwap, we have a link tree in our profile. Just click on that and you can join both. We're active on both. We post announcements on both. So whatever your preference is, like make sure to at least join one of those groups. And I think the timing of everything is going to be really, really great. We're heading into the halving. Then we're going to have, the post halving, kind of hopefully hysteria. I don't know how long that's going to be. I don't know if you thought about how long this this upcoming bull market bull run might last. But I think everything seems to be kind of coming together exactly when it should.
Yeah, for sure.
We are going to do something special today, Hank. We are going to we're going to give away to one winner some NFTs, a collection of NFTs, and they're not much. They're not much, but that's why I'm giving away 5 of them because I feel like if I clump them together, then it'll be worth a worthwhile prize. And the only requirements that are going to be needed from anybody that's here is to like and repost the room. So if you haven't done that yet, please do so. And in a few minutes, we'll do a random Twitter picker, and I will be giving away. These are some NFTs that I don't know, Hank. I bought like 40 of them like last week when drops. Somebody did a when cats, and they're only I think they're worth like just like a minimal amount, but basically if you hold them, whatever the trading volume is for this collection every week, the dev is going to take the royalties from that, which are I think there's like 7.5% royalties on the buys and sells, and redistribute those royalties as when to whoever's holding the NFT. So I'm going to give out 5 of them to one person who wins this lucky drawing, and you know, who knows what'll happen with the collection, but there you go. Um, Hank, I've been wanting to ask you this for like a couple weeks now. Uh, with this kind of bull run that we talk about, uh, previous bull cycles have seen moves from Bitcoin first down to major alts, trickling down to kind of micro caps. I've been talking with a bunch of people, and they're worried about kind of that flow happening again because it seems like, at least right now, with Solana getting so much attention with people's money, that with the different small cap launches and shit coins and all that. Do you see that similar process and flow is going to happen again this time, or do you think it's going to be more spread out evenly amongst different, degrees of market cap projects?
So it's kind of interesting. I the cycles have been similar on all of the previous times that it's done it, but I think people are slowly learning. So I don't know if people are necessarily going to take the profits that they make on T1 T2 coins and trickle it down into the absolute tiny ones, right? I mean, people, they buy shitcoins all the time already. So I don't know if they would do more than what they're already risking for that, right? So it's interesting, right? So would you rather spend a lot of time, stress, and money trying to find the tiny guy and hope for a 10,000 gain, or would you go for the sure thing when the market's heating up and take a solid 3 to 5x kind of thing, or even a 2x, and then go to the next thing that you think could potentially 2x, right? Because all you need to do is 2x a few times, you can start building up capital, right? It's very rare that you're going to be able to find that one project that happens to make it out of the pile of crap that it's surrounded by and actually make anybody money, right? So it's just it, and I'm bad as the example because the last bull run I got lucky with meme coins and all that other crap, but my perception as an investor has also changed since then. Of I would rather be able to take $1,000, turn it into $3,000, and then wait 2 weeks and see that $3,000 invested in the next thing turn into 6,000. Right? I mean that's pretty good returns for me, and I would feel much safer getting a 2 or 3x than I would be throwing that $1,000 into 10 different things and 8 of them rugging and one of them pumping all the way up while I'm asleep and then plummeting down and then the other one breaking even, right? Because that's what happens in meme coins. You lose most of your money unless you get lucky. It's gambling. That's what that is. And betting on the blue chips
Yeah.
or things that actually have utility, like Link, or something that has to be used in order to service a product that is used by everybody. That's where I feel more comfortable investing now versus where we were a while ago.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And man, just talking about the meme coin experience, I mean, I think most of us have been there
Don't get
before.
me wrong, I still buy
It's
meme coins and shit coins and shit, but it with much less capital than I used to.
right. Right. And but I guess like what I was gonna get at is the mental security or like, kind of the amount of stress that you can put yourself under with something like playing the meme coin game is way higher than putting it into Bitcoin, Ethereum, something like that, just letting it sit. How many sleepless nights you can have just watching a chart because you're just not sure if it's gonna go up or go down. You might miss a selling point or anything like that. The security that you can get is definitely a point of consideration when you're trying to figure out what your own trading strategy is and what you want in your own portfolio. And I'm squarely, planted probably 85% in the meme coin land. So that's where my sleep schedule is at. We we are going to wrap up the show, but I am going to run this Twitter picker right now for anybody that's been able to reshare the room, and I'm running it right now. All right, 1 second. Hank, do you have anything that you would like to say before we wrap up while I'm getting this winner pick?
No, just thanks for everybody who attended. Obviously this is recorded, so everyone who couldn't make it, they'll listen in here shortly. Just know that we're going to be putting out a lot of information here soon about all of the things that we're doing. And if anybody does want to come up next time and talk, feel free. Jude and I enjoy talking to each other, but we're more than happy to have you guys come up and join the conversation. So feel free to come up, introduce yourself, and we're just gonna continue doing this and hopefully grow as the platform grows, and just keep this up every week. We did cancel last week just because I had a impromptu meeting come up. That might happen every now and then. We might do this twice a week, depending on the schedule. Once everything calms down and once we're done doing raises. So I'll just kind of like poll it and try to figure out what day and time works best for the most people, just so we can kind of get a little mix of everyone.
Yeah, I was saying, Hank, before you hopped on the call today, that last week or the first two shows, they basically have had the same listenership. There's been about 300 listeners, which I think is a good start. You know, we've got to start somewhere and just build from there. But our playbacks that we're getting from the recording are really, really, really good. So, you know, just keep sharing it, everybody, and you know, we're going to grow this and grow Diamond Swap and really get the word out there. We have a winner, Hank.
Ooh, okay. Who is it?
It is Mr. Fishhead 35.
Hey, there you go.
So, Trisha, I'm going to reach out to you from my own account. It's Jude Newcomb, and I will get you. Well, no, I'll DM you from the Diamond Swap account, so then you know that it's real, and we'll get you squared away. Just need your Solana wallet address, and I'll get those sent over to you. Um, yeah, I really appreciate everybody being here today. Hank, thanks so much for joining and being co-host and being such a great part of this program. Looking forward to everything that Diamond Swap and Dior have coming this year, and not even really this year. I mean, this stuff is gonna, you know, it's coming soon, and it's gonna snowball into, you know, something that's a force in the crypto industry. So. Uh, Keep an eye out for the next tweet for the next space, and we hope to see you there and come up and say hi and join the conversation. You know, this is a community kind of platform, and we want to hear from you. So with all that being said, Hank, have a great day. Everybody have a great day.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.